What's up, good people? This is Anthony Deloach, strategic growth partner with eEstate, and I want to do a short overview of the company to show you what the company is all about and show you how you can participate. So without further ado, I do want to go ahead and introduce to some and present to others eEstate, a new era of real estate. Now, eEstate is presenting a unique solution where they're helping shrink the wealth gap. Now, in the traditional sense, there's a wealth gap in the real estate space because average everyday people can't participate in high performing real estate assets without a lot of capital, great credit, or the right connections. That presents a lack of access, and we have noticed that there's very slow processes in the traditional real estate space. Now, there's something that's impacting our financial markets that's helping change the game, and that is called tokenization. Now, I want to go over why tokenization matters so much right now. Well, tokenization opens up access to real estate investments that enhance liquidity and create opportunities in a $16 trillion market. This is absolutely phenomenal here. This is one of the market shifts that we only see once in a lifetime. Now, we've seen a lot of things that are showing that this is the new wave when it comes to real estate, because you see this article that's on the screen that shows that Trump's Maldives hotel will be a tokenized real estate project. Now, this article was published back on November 17th, and I think that's a significant sign that real estate tokenization is becoming a thing of the now. Now, the next thing that we're going to pay attention to is what institutional and high net worth investors are doing. And I saw this article and I thought it was important to point out that institutional investor interest paints an exciting picture. Recent surveys show that 80% of high net worth investors and 67% of institutional investors already invest or plan to invest in tokenized assets. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's a clue. Now, the next thing that I want to show you, which is the third point of reference, is that BlackRock's Larry Fink and Rob Goldstein says that tokenization could do for finance what the early internet did for information. And if we look at that, we understand what the early internet did for information. It accelerated it. Not only did it accelerate it, but it opened up access to average everyday people who normally would not have had that information before the advent of the internet. Well, I want to tell you guys that tokenization is set to do the same thing. It's going to accelerate a lot of the processes in our financial space, but it's also going to open up access so that average everyday people can participate in financial vehicles that they never had access to. So most people want to know what tokenization is because it's a big word, but I want to tell you, even though it's a big word, it doesn't have to be a complex topic. Here's my simple explanation of tokenization when it comes to real estate. Tokenization is simply the process of converting real estate asset ownership into digital tokens on the blockchain. Now, why would we take real estate asset ownership to the blockchain? Well, if we look at the blockchain, we understand that it is a tamper-proof digital ledger that's totally secure, totally transparent, and totally anonymous at the same time. Now, if we take real estate asset ownership to the blockchain, that's going to mean more transparent transactions, better liquidity of real estate, and it's going to open up opportunities for modest investors. Now, how can we actually start to participate in this space? Well, I want to tell you there's one company that's revolutionizing the real estate market. That company is eEstate. Now, eEstate is combining cutting edge technology with accessible investment opportunities, and it's opening up the doors for everyone to be able to participate. Now, you may be wondering, is eEstate the right company? Well, I want to tell you that I believe the performance of the company is telling the true story. This company was established back in November of 2024. Then there was the official launch in June of 2025. Now, after 6 months, we got our performance report. It's like a report card. And I want to tell you, I believe this report card is showing A+ results, because the company had grown to more than 10,500 registered users, more than 5,000 completed purchase transactions with EST, and there was more than 2 million EST sold backed by real world property. The company had grew to more than 1,200 plus real estate professionals worldwide. The next thing that really impressed me was the total payout of over $2.5 million distributed to platform users. The company had grown to 11 real estate projects worth over $100 million. The next thing that I want to point out is that the percentage of all EST sold was 19.12%, and the management income and capital operations related to EST sales transferred to EState $3.6 million. These are some phenomenal results for a company that's just getting started but disrupting the traditional real estate space. Now, I want to let you guys know that we are talking about real properties. These are not metaverse properties. These are not digital properties that only exist on the internet. These are real world properties that are verified, right? All of our properties are properly insured and protected so that you can know that these assets are protected if you decide to participate. The next thing I want you to know is that every property on our platform is tokenized for greater liquidity. Every property undergoes a thorough auditing process to make sure it's the right property for our platform. And our properties are verified with a legal entity identifier. Our company is verified with a legal entity identifier. And we're building one of the largest, most supportive real estate tokenization communities that has ever existed. Now, and when it comes to compliance and verification, we are already compliant and verified. Whether you're talking about standards set by the Financial Action Task Force, or you're talking about anti-money laundering or legal entity identifier, we're totally compliant and verified. Now, let's go over some of the properties, just a sample of the properties that are available in the EState portfolio. Now, one of those properties I want to cover is one of our newest properties, which is a lake house that's located in Lakeside, Oregon. Now, this is a tokenized property that you can actually participate in and start earning passive income. Now, this property was built in 2007. It has 2 stories, has crawl space, and it's a contemporary style. The house is 3,780 square feet, sits on 13.3 acres, has 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, and is a 2-car attached garage. It has an additional shop sitting out back, and it also has views of the lake and the forest, and you have direct lake access, which is amazing. Now, the short-term rental performance overview is also spectacular. We're looking at an average daily rate of $950. The estimated annual occupancy is 65 to 75%, and the projected annual rental revenue is $208,000 to $260,000 from this property. And guess what, guys? You can actually get a minimum share of this property through tokenization for only $250. It is a game changer. The next property I want to cover is a desert villa that's located in California. This is also an absolutely beautiful property. And let me tell you, this property was built in 2005. It's a 1-story property, slab on grade, and a modern style. This property is 3,308 square feet, and it sits on 0.3 acres, which also has a 2-car attached garage. It's in a residential neighborhood, and it has a private yard. Now, here's the short-term rental performance overview for this property. This property's average daily rate is $1,250. The estimated annual occupancy is 55 to 60%, and the projected annual rental revenue is $275,000 to $315K. And you can actually get a piece of this property to earn passive income just as little as $1,000 or 100 EST. That is absolutely amazing that you can actually start earning passive income from a property like this. Now, when it comes to passive income, you may want to know how that is being paid. Well, I want to tell you that we have an exclusive 2-phase income model. Here's how that model works. During this 2-phase income model, the first phase lasts for 18 months. During that 18 months, you're going to get paid daily, Monday through Friday. During that time frame, you're going to earn anywhere from 6 to 20% per month. That's based on the property that you're participating in. It's important to note that these are not guaranteed profits, but this is the projected revenue that you could participate in from the property. Now, the next thing that I want to tell you here is that after the first 18 months, you're going to enter what we call phase 2, which is the passive phase. And during the passive phase, you're going to earn 10% annually for the lifetime of the property, right? When I say the lifetime of the property, I mean as long as it's in eEstate's portfolio. And you may be wondering what happens if eEstate decides that they're going to sell the property. Then they're going to come back and they're going to buy your tokens back from you, which means in essence, you get your initial capital back. So yes, you get to keep all the profits that you've earned up until that point, but then you actually get your initial capital back upon the sale of the property, which I believe is also amazing. Now, if you want to compare this to traditional real estate opportunities that are out there, then I'm going to show this comparison. We have Skygate Growth Strategies, which handles a lot of the developments in Miami, such as the Dolce Gabbana residences or the Mercedes-Benz residences that they're building here. Now, these are private deals that most people don't even know about. But if you compare this deal to one of our deals, you're going to see there is a big difference, and you're going to see why so many people are flocking to eEstate. See, the minimum price share is on this property is $1. The minimum investment, though, is $100,000. Their preferred rate of return will be 8% annually. That's paid out as cash monthly. That's the distribution frequency monthly, and the target IRR is 32% on this property. Now, if we move on to the eEstate property, because we have an apartment that's located in Icon Brickell in Miami, so we're comparing two different projects located in Miami. So let's take the same amount. Let's take $100,000 rather, that you would put in here. Now, you don't have to put $100,000 into this property. The minimum start point for this property is $10. But if you put $100,000 here, you would be looking at earning on average a projected return of around $420 a day, or around $8,820 a month. In the total 18-month time frame, you would look at earning somewhere around $158,760. Let me say this again. This is an average projected amount. There are no guaranteed payouts on this, right? Now, your break-even point is typically around 10 months on this property. But let's do the direct comparison to see how these two opportunities actually line up. So if we look at the Skygate Growth Strategies model, your minimum investment is $100,000, and you do have to be an accredited investor to actually participate. But you'll be looking at an estimated monthly payout if you did $100,000 of $667. But let's take a look at the eEstate model, the Miami property token, right? So this starts at a minimum of $10 and is open to everyone. Now, you're looking at the estimated monthly payout of $8,820. That's 13 times more cash flow with the eEstate model. I think it's very easy to see why eEstate is growing by leaps and bounds. Now, if you wanted to get started with eEstate, it's a very simple process. All you have to do is get the link from a digital real estate agent that's associated with eEstate, and then set up your free account and get verified with the KYC and anti-money laundering measures. Once you're verified, you can browse the different properties that are in the portfolio, and then you can choose the one that's best for you. Once you find one that really suits your needs, then you can actually fund your account, and you can fund your account with cryptocurrency. You can fund with Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, XRP, USDT, USDC, Solana, Trump Coin, or even PYUSD, which is PayPal's stablecoin. So we have a lot of options that allow you to fund your account. After you fund your account, you can go ahead and purchase the share of property that you want through tokenization. Once you make that purchase on the platform, you're going to get access to your tokens on the Binance Smart Chain, and you're also going to get a contract that's automatically executed between you and the company. And that company even includes asset inheritance. So guys, this is a phenomenal way for the average everyday person to participate in high-performing real estate properties to earn passive income. Now, we have a full presentation that goes over all the details if you want to know how you can participate with this incredible opportunity. So get with the person who invited you and take a further look at this so you can see how you can get started with the new wave of wealth through real estate.